So you guys hear about Kirk Cameron?
Holy shit.
You want to go there?
This guy
went talking about God.
He went that crazy route.
Yeah. You know, he...
Why was Alan Thicke compelled to have to comment on him? I was his television dad.
Oh, really? That's what he's saying?
Yeah.
Like he's...
It's like, why Alan? People are looking for Alan Thicke for some kind of explanation as to why he raised a lunatic television son.
Kirk Cameron's just a dick.
He's a douchebag.
He's a fucking asshole. And I'm slightly close to this because someone I knew pretty well in college married Kirk Cameron.
Oh, really? That's got to be a
And
treat.
she was the coolest broad, and she was an actress and started. She came down to New York. She was doing really well, and then she was on a whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, she was on Cheers.
Yeah,
I think she got a little role in Seinfeld. I think she did one of those Seinfeld shows where she was dating Jerry for half the episodes. She was one of those girls that was in a lot of shit. And then she fucking ran into Kirk Cameron and disappeared and had 8 kids for the fucking guy.
Oh, man.
And she said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Nothing." They're like, "All right."
She was in a lot of major shows. Right.
I knew her pretty well in college. I mean,
Cheers?
I'm not going to say we kept touch or anything, but back in that, when I was in college, we certainly knew her and hung out a little bit.
She was in Cheers, Who's the Boss, Full House, Days of Our Lives. She had an ongoing stint.
Days? Who did she play in Days?
Yeah.
Ooh, do tell. Do ditch. Do dish.
Yeah, she started in soap operas right out of college, I believe, and then made Days of Our Lives. She was on Days of Our Lives for a long time.
Then went into Growing Pains. She was on there for a while.
Oh, that's how she probably met him.
Well,
wow, she's fucking hot.
She did an episode of, and then
you have no idea. That's an older picture of her, man.
She's lovely.
I mean, a newer picture, I should say.
I'd switch. You know what? I'll bet you she fucked the heathen right out of him. He was probably not even. He was an atheist, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then
she
religion
fucked God into his life.
Was he an atheist?
I think he went from atheism to I don't know if it's evangelical or much more hardcore Christian.
So maybe she brought the God in him.
Yeah.
This girl was beautiful. I don't know what she looks like now.
Carried God in that vessel vagina.
Believe me, if she put her vag on my face, I'd badmouth the gays for her. Why not?
Her vag was the holy grail. He drank from it.
What a douche he is.
Yeah, these are newer pictures. You got to see when she was younger, man. Holy
She's
fuck.
beautiful, though.
She's still beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but how many kids did she have for Kirk Cameron? I feel like we should get a Geneseo crew together and try to fucking rescue her.
Wait, but then again, did Piers Morgan ask him? Because there's a really weird...
Got the clip so we can find out.
As much as I don't like what he said, and I think he's a twat, he does have the right to his opinion. Just like Miss America, you can't penalize somebody because you ask them for their opinion and they offer an opinion you don't like.
That you don't like, exactly.
There's a difference between that and going on an anti-gay rant.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear how it got brought up.
By the way, I even have a little more respect for him being such a hardcore Christian, not bending the rules. If you're going to go the Christian route, you can't be like Christians for homosexuality. It's if you're going to go that whole thing about how God doesn't like homosexuals and this, that, then you got to take it the full limit.
I don't know. I think... And again, how
do you change religious rules?
I'm no Bible scholar. I think only once in Leviticus they mention
Leviticus
man laying with another man.
Yeah,
I think that's only mentioned once. I think there are other things mentioned, and that's why I heard somebody arguing that point that the anti-gay religious people are harping on like one thing in the Bible, and there's other things that are mentioned way more than that.
Yeah,
so somebody could maybe. I'm sure there's people listening out there that don't know what I'm talking about.
I think I saw the same show you saw on that. Tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was called Gays Were Only Mentioned Once in the Bible.
Right.
It was the name of the show.
Was the gay thing in the Bible kind of vague? That's been interpreted?
No, I said man shall not lay with another man. I think, I don't know what else it could be interpreted as. But even if it did say that.
Man did not lay with another man. I think he actually, Carl actually...
I got to correct myself. She had 3 kids with Kirk Cameron, and then they adopted one. I heard over the years that was a lot more, but I am wrong.
Because wasn't the Bible made up from a bunch of stories collected, popular religious teachings that they voted on 300 years after Christ died?
Found out it was actually Mad Libs, the original Mad Libs.
He washed whose feet? Leper! All right, put leper in there.
Leper, that's hilarious. Let me read it back to you now.
And there's a lot of other shit that was written.
Yeah,
and then they kind of took the best stuff and put in the Bible. I want to read that other shit because maybe there's some stuff in that.
The Bible needed an editor. That had to be edited.
Anything about women in the Bible? Like they said that again, I've heard Mary Magdalene was very a part of Christ's ministry and teachings, but she just got written off as a hooker because they didn't put a lot of her stuff in the Bible.
Yo, hooker! But you had
just thought I was preaching Greg to you.
But what's creepy about religion back then, it had so many more writings. And then the people that had influence when this was all being put together, they decided which ones were going to be the stories and the writings and the teachings.
They voted on them.
That's scary to me. I would love to read the whole body.
The original director's cut?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I bet you there's some stuff in there that might explain a few things here and there.
A canon or a canonized, and I know I don't know enough about it. I've learned too sporadically about it. But that's why when I look at the Bible,
pirates shoot at each other's boats and stuff.
What's that? Oh, canon. That was pretty good.
I got pretty good at it.
So maybe, go ahead.
No, I say that's why when they talk about the Bible is the word of God, it's just like, what did he wait so long to get it out for, you literal asses?
Oh, really?
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, think about that.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, we're my opinion, we're way off on what religion is really about. I think it's been fucked up.
Too much man hands in there.
Yeah,
in the soup.
I would love to see the whole religion thing in its purest form. What is that? That's the question.
It's love, man. Oh, shut up.
But that is the question because it's been fucked with for so many.
Yeah.
Well, a couple thousand years, certainly, right?
Twisted around for man's own fucking convenience and device.
With that, Kirk Cameron's a dick.
Yeah, he is.
In my opinion.
Yeah, he's a douche.
And you know what? He should be able to say whatever the hell he wants, by the way. Don't be fooled. Yeah. Kirk Cameron, homosexuality is unnatural and gay marriage is destructive to civilization. This is from Piers Morgan. We got the clip, so let's listen in now.
Mm-hmm. If I asked you, for example, what your view of gay marriage is, what would you say?
Gay? Well, go ahead and ask me.
What is your view of gay marriage?
I feel like I just got imported into the Christine O'Donnell interview you did back in August.
Well, that was an interview where she wouldn't talk about stuff in her own book.
I know.
I'm just saying, these issues are interesting to me about what you would tell your kids, who you're trying to protect, for example.
Yes.
Would you tell them that gay marriage is a sin?
I would tell my children, as I tell them what I believe myself, and dealing with these social issues, whether it's abortion or gay marriage.
What do you believe?
I believe that marriage was defined by God a long time ago. Marriage is almost as old as dirt, and it was defined in the garden between Adam and Eve, one man, one woman, for life, till death do you part. So I would never attempt to try to redefine marriage, and I don't think anyone else should either. So do I support the idea of gay marriage? No, I don't.
Do you think homosexuality is a sin?
I think that it's unnatural. I think that it's detrimental and ultimately destructive to so many of the foundations of civilization.
So what do you do if one of your 6 kids says, Dad, bad news, I'm gay?
Good question.
I'm not going to deal with hypothetical
I'd sit down and I'd have a heart-to-heart with them, just like you would with your kids. I'd talk to them about...
If one of my sons said that, I'd say, that's great, son.
No, you wouldn't.
Happy?
I think he would.
Maybe
he wouldn't.
Maybe he would be supportive,
There'd
though.
still be part of him that would be like, "Fuck, man."
Yep.
It's
I'd
probably
rather
not-
have the kid that wants to play ball.
It's probably not choice number one, but basically what he's saying is that he would support him.
Kirk Cameron did nothing wrong, though. He was asked his opinion. He didn't offer it. He was kind of goaded into give. You can't fault a guy for that's his
not
opinion.
faulting
No,
for
not
him.
you. I'm saying people in general.
Yeah.
The gay people, look, I get it. You don't like what he said, but you can't fucking bash the guy when Piers Morgan says, "What's your opinion?" and he gives it.
Right.
It's like, what? You can't fault him for that, even
So
if you
how
don't
do you
like
bash
it.
him? Right. Is he supposed to lie? Sit there and not be honest about how he feels?
No, people are not happy with what he said, which is fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think the guy's a twat.
I think he's a twat as well.
I really do.
And I think that fundamentalist or whatever Christian thinking stinks, and it's corny, and it's idiotic, and I think it's inconsistent.
The fact that marriage is defined by God?
Yeah.
Really?
God cares where you stick your dick, and he just threw a baby through a twister and killed the whole family?
Yeah.
Really? Same guy?
God, Jimmy, bravo.
Same guy? I mean, I don't get it. You religious people, they explain away everything bad and everything good is because God loves them. It's like that woman standing there begging the twister to avoid her house is exactly what religion is in a whole. It's like, do this for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Do this for me. Fuck everybody else. She didn't say, God, take the twister back. No, move it away from this town. Fuck everybody else.
The religious game is based completely on you have to have faith that even the bad shit that's being done to you, there's this wacky reason that you can't understand in life. You know, once you go over to the other side, everything will be explained to you. You'll understand why you had hardships.
Well, why so secretive?
Because it's the only way it works.
True.
It's the only way the game of a religion works is that the bad things that happen to you have to be mysterious, secret, and there has to be some underlying reason that you just aren't wise enough as a regular human to understand. Or else, if the truth of the matter was, well, because sometimes God don't like you, and he's going to smite you and your family, you'd sit there and go, well, fuck that. Fuck this God. But they've worded things and conditioned you to think that even when bad things happen, when your fucking kid is taken from you, or your mother, or you know, horrible thing happens to you, that it's still God loving you, but this is a test, or it's some way that you had to pay something for something you did, or don't worry, in the afterlife, it's all going to be made up for you. And, you know, that's the only way it works, is this blind faith that you have to follow for this all-knowing, all-loving God that does horrible things to people. But, you know, it'll be explained to you in the next chapter, I guess.
Saying Seinfeld is a bad Twitter guy, too, huh? Getting a little list together. He doesn't tweet much, though, right?
Jerry ain't that good either. Got to be honest with you.
Yeah, he doesn't tweet much.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, Ant.
Yeah.
Here's more from Piers Morgan.
Say, that's great, son. As long as you're happy. What would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say that's great, son, as long as you're happy. I'm going to say, you know, there's all sorts of issues that we need to wrestle through in our life, and just because you feel one way doesn't mean we should act on everything that we feel. But it's
and yet,
not only
some people would say that telling kids that being gay is a sin, or getting married is a sin, or whatever, that in itself is incredibly destructive.
Can you pause right
and damaging.
there? Like, this is what bugs me, and I understand Pierce is getting, it's a real interview. Don't say some people would say. You're in a one-on-one discussion.
Right.
Just say what you would say.
Yeah, exactly. You would say. I would say.
That's an interviewer's way of getting somebody else to say stuff without you debating them.
Well, Jimmy, some people would say you're stupid right now.
They'd be right.
Who called out the media on that? Was it Newt Gingrich or? Yeah, we played the clip on our show because an interviewer. Who was it?
That was Mitt Romney. Or was it Romney?
No, Romney wasn't smart enough for that.
The one who said, "What's his name? What's his name?"
Yeah, what's his name?
I think that was Rick Perry.
Oh, Rick Perry.
It was Perry. Okay, good. Yeah, because the media does this all the time. I'm glad Jimmy's bringing this up, where it's not on them. It's like, people are saying, and fucking Perry goes, "Who are the people?" And we'll name the people, or I'm not answering your question. Nailed the guy.
Getting married is a sin, or whatever. That in itself is incredibly destructive and damaging in a country where 7 states now have legalized it.
Yes, but you have to also understand that you yourself are using a standard of morality to say that telling people such and such of a behavior is sinful. You're using a standard of morality to make that statement and say that that is terribly destructive. So everyone is going to have a standard against which they...
Listen. I'm not an American. I'm making the point that 7 states in America have now legalized gay marriage.
Well,
by the way, I'm sorry. Can you put it one more time? Kirk Cameron, again, made a good point there. He's basically saying you're going by your standard of morality and I'm going by mine. Mm-hmm. I mean...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you ask... I'll say I think Kirk Cameron, do I think he's a douche? Yeah, why? Because he feels that way. Mm-hmm. But you did ask. And
he's giving you a real answer.
At least he's giving you real answers, right?
I feel sorry. I wouldn't want a father like that with such a closed-minded way of thinking.
I feel sorry for you.
Imagine if one of his kids is gay. Yeah.
And Piers did say that he was brave to say that. I kind of like the way Piers didn't throw him under the bus after. He said he was brave.
And I think that's right. As a father, sorry to bring this into it, but if my son came to me and said that, yeah, part of me would be bummed. Certainly, I want choice number one. It just seems like it'd be a hell of a lot easier way to go through life.
Right. And again,
that's where I sit today. Maybe it gets easier when he gets older. I don't know, but I just know from my dumb experience growing up, it would just be easier, right?
It's not even your own beliefs. It's you having a son that you care about you'd start thinking like, God, man, his future, you know, is going to be very difficult.
Exactly.
With this lifestyle. So you care in that way. You don't necessarily have to be like, well, I hate gay people. Ah, fuck you. You better start going out with it. But there will be things as a parent, just because you love your child, that you would look at and go, this is going to be a little rough.
But I would absolutely fully support that.
That would be rough, man. First fucking Christmas with a boyfriend. Brings him over. Little kissy face at the table. That's got to be a little rough for a dad. I don't know.
It's just,
of course
it's hard. It's probably not. I'm sure no dad would say it's easy.
But
trying to fuck the turkey.
But there's asshole fathers out there that would act on that shit that makes them uncomfortable instead of going, all right, I gotta suck it up and support my kid.
That is support.
Piers, you're speaking to a man who is a Christian, and I believe that all of us are sinful. I could stand at the top of the list and say that I need a savior and I need an overhaul of the heart more than anyone. And so that's what I teach my kids. I teach them the values that I hold dear. I treasure the God that loves me and forgives me of my sin. And I would teach that to my children.
If we're all sinners, then why are we worrying about this sin shit, Aunt? Right. If we're all sinners, why are we worrying about it in the end?
Yeah, isn't it all relative?
It would be one thing if you knew there was a whole mass amount of people out there that have never sinned. Then you're like, oh, fuck, I'm the asshole here. But if we're all sinning, then
it should cancel out everyone's sins.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we all know it is the Jew that
Exactly.
I love people that it all comes back to Jews. No matter
Jews.
What. Stupid white supremacists. Well, the Jew. We heard you. We heard you. It's the Jew. We got it. Fucking assholes.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Kirk Cameron is... he believes what he believes.
Yeah.
He's well informed
That's
on,
his right.
on the issue.
Yeah.
Where he stands anyway.
I think his opinion's stupid, but
absolutely.
he can have it.
Yeah.
And then he moves on and talks about abortion, which is a hot topic.
Which, oddly enough, he is totally for.
Yeah. But forcefully, with a sidekick. Like barbarically so.
Yeah, it's got to be natural.
Yeah.
What's your view of abortion?
I think that it's wrong.
Under any circumstances?
Under any circumstances.
Even rape and incest?
I think that someone who...
I don't understand where it's wrong in every instance.
In rape? Like
rape
a woman's
incest.
raped, she should be forced to have a baby?
I know this is one of those sensitive topics and all, but yeah, a woman is just minding her own business, going out to a parking lot, let's say. She gets raped, and now you want to force her to have that kid.
9 months later? Like, what kind of dummy are you?
I don't understand that, and I never will.
Oh, he has your father's deranged eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's got to look at the eyes that might look like the eyes that were staring at her when he was raping her.
So her life should stop, and her body should change, and she should force this thing out of her pussy after some guy forced it into her?
God works in mysterious ways.
By the way, I wonder if Kirk Cameron would feel that way if his wife was gang raped. Maybe he would. Say his wife was raped in a parking lot by somebody.
He's a cuck.
And, yeah, would he enjoy it, or would he say that she should be able to get rid of that, or maybe not? No, honey, God has a reason for you to have been
pray
punched
over
and
it,
raped.
they'd cry over it, and then they'd have the baby. And, this suffering seems to be a very big part of religion.
Yeah.
People, if they're having too good a time, you're doing something wrong in the eyes of your God. And this is pretty much every fucking religion out there, which is, I don't get it.
What?
Why the hell should we sacrifice a good time here for this, this is like fucking let's make a deal. You can have a good time here on this plane of life, or trade it in for the box that God is standing by. Good time now, fucking this, or some mysterious box that what if I get zonked?
Then you completely waste your life
Yes.
doing nothing. And why would you guilt a woman into having the kid? Being raped alone has got to be just emotionally brutal that you never get over. And now you're guilting her into having the kid.
And you don't even realize that. Jimmy brought up something very good. A lot of women, it takes a lifetime to get over a rape, or even to not get over, but to deal with it, to bring yourself where you can deal with it. It at least takes years of counseling and being able to accept what happened. 9 months later, you now have to have a kid that reminds you of the rapist, and that isn't quite enough time to make you a healthy human,
Well, if we were talking to one of these hardcore anti-abortionists, what would they say about that? Why?
Pray, God.
Well,
pray.
why do they feel that way?
Because life is a life. You don't have any right to take it. That's God's job.
Yeah,
That's their whole selling point on abortion.
We're wasting life all the time.
Well, that's bad in their eyes, too.
But why do they feel like that?
Off,
because they're assholes. That's
right.
why. That's why. Because they're absolute assholes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that completely believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
A lot of fucking people. Fuck yeah.
Especially in rape and incest. How could you think
millions of sperm in us right now that'll never see the light of day?
Oh, well, let's see the light of day on the floor.
Oh, true.
Fucking, before it gets the darkness of the tissue.
Yeah, as long as they don't see the light of the darkness of a mustache.
That would suck if you were an individual sperm.
Yeah.
Ending up on a mustache.
Oh, God.
And you don't realize until you're coming out of the cockhead.
Right. You didn't even waste me on a fucking broad.
Your owner, you hear, and you don't realize that it's the guy whose balls you're in is doing poppers, and as you're rushing out, you're like, wow, I'm going out way too fast. You don't realize you're expertly being sucked out by a gentleman. With a backwards baseball hat.
Oh, that's funny, really funny.
What's your view of abortion?
I think that it's wrong
under any circumstances.
Even
rape and incest.
I think that someone who is ultimately willing to murder a child, even to fix another tragic and devastating situation, like rape or incest or things like that, is not taking the moral high road. I think that we're compounding the problem by also murdering a little child.
Could you honestly look a daughter in the eye if she was raped and say, you have got to have that child?
And yes, and I will help you.
That?
Yes,
wow.
Of course.
I find that amazing. People would say that.
Absolute
what
jerk
a piece of shit.
That's a piece
of shit.
It's a complete commitment to the point of throwing away your life. And this is how people that aren't religious look at it. Throwing away your life on some mystery package that you might get later on. But to them, it's, he doesn't care so much what is happening in this life. So if his daughter gets raped and has to have a kid from a rapist, this life to him is just it's a thing to praise God and get in touch with the Lord enough so that when he dies, he could be there at the right hand. So you got to go from the mindset of he doesn't see this like we see it.
Yeah,
he doesn't see this plane of existence.
I'm totally with you. I get it.
This plane of existence for him is for suffering and for paying your tab so you can then enjoy your time.
Your price of admission.
Yeah,
yes, your price of admission to the kingdom.
I'm certainly
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what there is after this, but I mean, this organized religion doesn't seem to be the exact fucking thing. There's interpretation out there
that
we're missing out on.
If there is some type
like for him
of
to read
God,
the Bible and just go, this is literally the word of God. I never believed that. I'm like, no, man. Who wrote this book? Were there other shit involved? You know, where are we at?
If there's some type of God, I honestly don't believe in my horrid little brain that life would be put on a planet with so many resources and so many great things, and for us to look but don't touch,
right.
You know, to not be able to enjoy yourself.
Why bother living if the whole time you're going to be tested and worry about guilt and everything else?
For this next phase.
That seems
like
exhausting. How about you give my life to someone else? No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through life being tested the whole time.
Yeah, why make things fun then?
Right.
Why do you got to tempt us
with a million?
This game, it's some kind of type of fucking game. You put all kinds of fun shit around us, and then if we fuck around with it, we're condemned.
That
Jesus, that sounds great.
For what in the end?
For a game.
Because no one really has explained it.
That'd be a fantastic game. Imagine if you're God and you got to play with fucking people like that. I'm going to drop fucking 2 naked bitches that want to fuck this married guy so bad. Go ahead. Oh, he went for it. Ha ha, condemned. It's crazy to think that there's a God that's doing this.
He seems a bit twisted.
A bit fucking twisted.
Because, I mean, we got the story everyone's talking about, the kid that went flying. What?
Right.
The kid wasn't even 2, I don't think.
A mile away from the house in the tornado. The whole family's dead.
And then God teases a little bit like, oh, guess what? The baby survived. And then you're like, you breathe a sigh of relief and go, oh, that's right. No, now he's dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
Or she. I don't know if it was
she was
boy
a
or girl.
miracle baby.
Yeah.
It was
For
a
a day.
miracle.
For a day.
No, but it was a miracle. Wipe the whole family out.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw this kid 13 miles. Oh, it's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
But getting back to God is twisted. You know how twisted it is to have a baby survive a tornado and get thrown out of the house,
And it's
then
like,
and then you go, nah, fuck it, I'm going to kill the baby anyway.
Hey, Reaper, come here a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, you were doing something? All right, go back and finish. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, let them think it's a miracle baby for a day.
Okay. Sorry. Jesus. It's you really can twist your fucking mind up thinking about it. Yeah. I would love to know what happens to people like Kirk Cameron that puts them in the position where they're vulnerable to just eat this shit up. Fucking just eat it up and just take it and completely commit themselves to it.
We're lucky that we live in part of the country that isn't crazed over it.
I think it's something to do with other parts of life experience.
But there are other parts of this country that they are crazed about. There's a million Kirk Camerons. They're cloned all over the place.
Yeah, they're raised like that. You're right.
We see the religious shit in New York,
what happened
of course,
to Kirk?
but not some of these places you live. It's insane how they think.
Did someone say, Sarah from Buffalo says that Rick Santorum said rape babies should be treated as gifts from God. Think it was a CBS interview. Let me get this right.
He couldn't have said that.
Maybe he did. So let me get this right, though. If it's a gift from God, how about if somebody breaks into your house and rapes your wife and holds you at gunpoint and rapes your wife? Now, why would that be a crime in your mind if that rapist is the vehicle being used to provide a gift from God?
Well, that's true. If it's something so good.
Since everything happens for a reason. Maybe God needed this baby inside. So why would it be against the law, Rick, for someone to break into your house and rape your wife, if that's what you said?
God rapes in mysterious ways,
Yes.
Jimmy. He really does.
No, but maybe the gift from God is that woman, his wife, and the rapist are going to have a baby that is going to go on to someday have a child who will do great things.
Great things.
So maybe that's God's plan. So if this rapist is just a vehicle serving God, why should he go to prison?
Couldn't God have worked it out where the rapist and maybe the rapist kisses the wife at the, at the dance? Something like that.
This guy's saying, so if the baby survived, God is great, but since it died, God
Jamming under the sea dance.
Isn't bad.
Why did he take
I see what they're saying. Gotcha. Yeah, if the baby survived, everyone would be like, look, what God did, God is great.
Yeah.
But since he killed the baby, they're not saying God is bad. They're just going,
God's never bad.
That's his
Mysterious ways.
We
Is this
don't
the
understand.
clip, the Santorum clip?
Can we hear this, maybe? I don't want to misquote the guy.
On abortion, you did harden your position on that. As you
Piers loves talking about abortion.
Yeah.
Why
Piers
was
loves
that?
abortion.
Well, life,
It's bigger.
When I decided to run for public life, I was informed very quickly. People wanted to know what my position on that was. So I actually went through the process of trying to better understand the facts. It became very clear to me that life begins at conception, and persons are covered by the Constitution. And since life is human life is the same as a person, to me it was a pretty simple deduction to make that that's what the Constitution clearly intended to protect.
But you pause that real quick? There weren't, by the way,
That's an
I don't
easy way to
believe
put
there
it.
were there abortions when the Constitution was being drafted? Was abortion a big issue on the table, Rick, during the Constitution? I mean, maybe they gave them at some point, but was that really a hotbed issue in 1700?
A belt to the breadbasket.
I don't believe abortion was talked a lot about back then.
No. I don't think they were talking about abortion.
Carlin's bit is genius. He says, how come we don't count them in the census if they're people?
Yeah. How about that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt there. Go back just a teeny bit, Sam. Like another 10 seconds. Okay, that's good.
Make that's what the Constitution clearly intended to protect.
But do you really believe, let me ask you this, do you really believe in every case it should be totally wrong? In the sense that, I know that you believe even in cases of rape and incest, but you've got two daughters. If you had a daughter that came to you...
He loves daughter rape. Yes.
And was pregnant and was begging you to let her have an abortion, would you really be able to look her in the eye and say, know as her father?
I would do what every father would do, is to try to counsel your daughter to do the right thing.
It's a sort of,
and it's
an almost impossibly hypothetical thing to ask you, but there will be people in that position who may well share your religious values.
It's not a matter of religious values.
And they're looking at their daughter saying,
let them finish, Piers.
How can I deal with this? Because if I make her have this baby...
You presented your question, let him finish.
It's going to ruin her life.
Well, you can make the argument that if she doesn't have this baby, if she kills her child, that too could ruin her life. And this is not an easy choice. I understand that.
And you'll never have to make it.
As horrible as the way that daughter and son was created, it still is her child. And whether she has that child or she doesn't, it will always be her child, and she will always know that. And so to embrace her and to love her and to support her and get her through this very difficult time, I've always,
God, what a scumbag.
I believe, and I think, the right approach is to accept this horribly created, in the sense of rape, but nevertheless gift, and in a very broken way, but gift of human life, and accept what God is giving to you. As you know,
the gift in a shitty fucking package.
Lots of different aspects of our life, we have horrible things happen. I can't think of anything more horrible, but nevertheless, we have to make the best out of a bad situation. And
how do you equate
that is making the best?
How do you equate? Because I know that your position, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you just believe in the sanctity, the innocence of life. How do you equate that with supporting the death penalty, given there are so many people who actually are completely innocent?
Yeah, I've supported mandatory DNA testing, and we have to be certain. I mean, if there's...
But we can't be, can we?
Well, you can...
So if you can't be certain, as a commander-in-chief again, as the president, if you can't be certain, and in fact you know for a fact many innocent people are getting killed under this system, and you believe...
Can you pause, Sam, 1 second? Because Piers is wrong.
Piers is wrong here, too.
I agree with Piers on the fact that if you can't be certain all the time, but mandatory DNA testing is important. If woman is raped and murdered, and there's mandatory DNA testing, and your DNA is found in her or whatever, there is a certain way we can be certain.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm thinking, like, fuck it, if you're certain or not, he shouldn't be for the death penalty.
Right.
He shouldn't be for the death penalty if the guy they found him over the body with the bloody knives in both hands. If he feels that abortion is murder, then he should feel that the taking of any life, even in a military action. How about that? You send troops overseas to kill people, you're still killing people. What, we know best as to when and what context of killing people is stuff that the Lord would agree with? Mm-hmm. Do you honestly think you're that fucking wise?
You gotta let people live no matter what.
Yeah, either let them live no matter what or kill everybody. Who gives a shit?